is The Riot on RadioU. This is our podcast. Thank you so much. I mean, you have so many options for podcasting, but you've chosen to join us, and we are grateful.
We're grateful and shocked sometimes, but, we're glad that you enjoy it and that you keep coming back every day to check out our next podcast.
So, things that you will hear in today's podcast, we start off with Tom Cruise on TikTok, and... honestly, I was just back and forth on whether or not to actually cover this story at all. But it, for whatever reason, in the last 24 hours has gotten a lot of national news attention. And I was like, well, all right. I mean, I looked at it last week, but we'll throw it in today.
So
sure.
You can learn about that, even though it has been, all the videos have been taken down, but the TikTok page is still there. It just doesn't have any content anymore.
We talk about paying your own way on dates, second season of Superman and Lois, Hitler mustaches. Something's going on with mannequins in the world that we're trying to put a stop to. Pickle Juice, Paramount Plus, Hobbs and Shaw, and other movies that you start but don't finish. And then we also get a little glimpse into what's wrong with Obadiah.
And what you should and should not do with a pet. I mean, I think we teach a lesson there if you're not a pet owner, but you do get a look into Obi, from baby Obi, childhood Obi, and how that can really shape somebody. So be prepared.
I feel like, honestly, I feel like some people are going to hear that and be like, that seems very disturbed to them. And I'm just like, no, it's fine.
Well, I'm sure that
that's just the way it was.
I've not seen that show before, but I can imagine, like, if you went back and looked, it's probably not as scary or as bad as, like, the things we just casually watch nowadays. So I'm sure the tone maybe is different, or it could be horrific and it's just as bad. I don't know. And I'm not suggesting going to watch it to find out.
No. Me either. I'm going to go ahead and just... I will. Okay, complete side note, way off topic. There's a blogger, I won't mention his name, but I really appreciate him because he basically blogs about like all these terrible things that he saw because his parents didn't really pay attention to what he was watching on TV.
Yeah.
Oh, man. That guy and I, he and I have reacted very differently to what we've seen.
Yeah.
But I totally vibe with that. Like, oh, yeah, my parents put a TV in my room and I watched everything.
Hey, there was nothing off limits. So, well, enjoy.
Yeah.
Enjoy that look into that. Don't forget to say hey. Text 877 to RadioU or RadioU Riot. Message through our Facebook page.
All right. Anything else?
Bye, guys. Thanks for listening and enjoy your day.
Yeah, have a great day. Bye.
This is RadioU's Worst of the Riot.
I am kind of a fan of deepfakes. Do you guys know what deepfakes are? So deepfakes are where somebody takes a celebrity's image and then maps it onto somebody else. And so I subscribe to this Twitter account and or YouTube channel where they basically swap famous actors and actresses in movies. Mm-hmm. And so, like, the one I always point to that I was fascinated by was they put Tom Selleck in Indiana Jones, and he was originally supposed to be Indiana Jones. And then they also went back, okay, you guys are going to care about this one.
Well, do you still want to give it as an example? Will that be okay?
I'll give it to you, but nobody's going to care. But you guys know how they did the Star Trek reboots with Chris Pine? They went back and put the original Star Trek cast on the people in that.
I didn't know that.
And so it's like, I don't know, it's just weird and kind of interesting. But on TikTok, you've got Deep Tom Cruise. This was something, I saw it last week and kind of dismissed it, but it has been building. So now, it's got over 1 million likes. It's got, it's gotten kind of big, and now everybody's talking about it. But I'll have to give them credit. I never watched the actual videos.
Yeah.
They're amazing. So it's a TikTok where, they're claiming, hey, this is Tom Cruise's TikTok, even though it's very plainly,
not
it says
him.
it right there.
Yeah.
Yeah. These are the best deepfakes I've ever seen. Like, it's impressive. I could show you that, and if we took it out of context, I think you'd completely buy into the fact that's Tom Cruise.
Well, that's the problem with this. You know, if you're a fan and you're like, oh, I want to see what this actor would have looked like in this role, like there's that side of it. But when it comes to deepfake, there's this whole other world to it where because it is so convincing, you can create a video that's not true, but 99% of the people will only see it as true. And not everybody catches on that is not really, you know, Tom Cruise, or in the case of a negative video, like that's not really that person doing that. So there's some controversy when it comes to this sort of stuff.
Yeah, no, people are, this one in particular, and I think one, because it's so good, and two, because it's fooled so many, which is almost the same thing. They're just saying, like, there's this big push and like, you guys know what deepfake is, and they're trying to explain it and why it's this terrible thing.
Yeah.
But think about this. This is some of the very same technology that's bringing you Zombie Bob Ross this weekend for the Mountain Dew ad.
So it's okay in some, but on others, it might not be. I guess maybe, do we know that everybody understands, you know, deep Tom Cruise is not real, or are people really confused because it looks so convinced? Like, your mom and dad would be confused, honestly, because they would think, oh, it's Tom Cruise.
And the other side of it is, honestly, you don't care. Like, I'll tell you, I'm not awake at night. Like, I can't have people stealing Tom's identity. I can't. Like, I'm not too worried about it. But it is one of those things that's worth looking at because it has big implications for, you know, you think about in the news now, you get audio of one person saying one word or phrase or something that everybody gets upset about, and they end up in a whole lot of kind of social trouble.
Yeah.
Well, now if they haven't done that, we can just make them do that.
Well, I think I also thought when I watched some of them, Tom Cruise is probably going, well, these look really good. I could be doing the movies this way. Like, why am I breaking so many bones or really pushing myself if I have someone else just do those dangerous things? Because Tom Cruise always does his own, you know, most of his stunts. Like, he's pretty well known for that. You could just slap his face on someone else and he could keep making more movies.
I think they've suspended this TikTok account. I don't know if that's, like, I was trying to find the actual account and I couldn't find it. So it's probably because, Nikki, Tom has bought up all the tech and he's using it for a new Mission Impossible movie. I think you're right.
Maybe he's hired the person who put together Deep Tom Cruise, and now they're going to be working together on the next Mission Impossible movies.
We see we see Tom Cruise doing press for Mission Impossible 8, and he's gained 200 pounds.
We've got an archive of everything stupid the Riot has ever said at your fingertips. This is the worst of the Riot podcast.
So here's a girl on Tinder. She went on 3 dates with the same guy.
Yeah.
After the third date, she's like,
Oh, she knew it wasn't going to work.
Not so much. So I don't know if they had that discussion in person or over the app or whatever, but like, hey, we're not going to get together. So he sent her, or he requested her Venmo name so that she could reimburse him for her half of the 3 dates.
Oh, like for the food and stuff? Oh.
Yeah. Which, by the way, was only about $35.
Yeah.
That's not bad.
But still, it's kind of, I don't know, it's kind of petty, isn't it? Is that the word we want to use? I think that's the word I want to use with it. Just because it didn't work out. Sometimes that's the investment. If you decide to do that, you know, if that was what was agreed upon when you were going on the date, then you don't really go back on that just because it doesn't work out.
She says that in each instance, she asked to pay for her own stuff, and he insisted on paying for her stuff.
So that's what you don't go back on. That's what you decided. You guys all went with that at the time of the date. But again, because it doesn't work out, you can't just go, well, fine, I want my money back.
I'll tell you this right now. As a guy, I, would kind of insist on, like, yeah, I want to pay. But as a girl these days, no way. I'm not.
Because you don't want this to happen?
No, I don't want. Well, you know what I don't want? I feel like there was a time when maybe this was not true, and I feel like there are people for which this is currently not true.
Yeah.
But you don't know until you get into the middle of this if you're sitting across from someone that sees this dinner as some exchange and then you owe them for it on some level. You don't want to be in debt to some guy that you find out is a huge jerk or whatever. So,
well, that's where you say on the other end, it's not worth the $35 for you to go through that, let alone what he's saying. So maybe it is better if you just, until you know each other more, just split what it is. Split if you go out and eat.
First couple times.
Yeah, nothing wrong with that. Until you know, or you're past that awkward phase, you're just, until you know what's going to happen from it, it might not be worth it.
Yeah. And I mean, I get it. Like, there's all sorts of gender dynamics and societal constructs at play. You know, there's just it's a whole thing. I mean, you go back to all the way to almost like a caveman mentality. You're taking out the woman and showing her, I can provide food for you. I provide food for babies.
But
like whatever.
You can't change your mind and say, I need your Venmo. I want my money back. That's not what we're doing. Even in this modern day, it's not what you're supposed to do.
I think it just comes down to don't let anybody buy anything.
Yeah.
Like, just period. So, Nikki, I'm going to send you a bill for your birthday gift I just got you. Like, just
taking it back.
Just pay up. We're better off that way.
But you said on my birthday that was a gift. You can't just take that back. We all heard it, so you can't take that back and make me pay for it.
All right, fine, whatever.
Aww, so I feel bad for her. I'm sure that's awkward to go through.
Listening to the worst of the riot is the equivalent of standing in line at the BMV. Ugh. Worst of the riot. RadioU.
I'm a little sleepy this morning because, Nikki, I stayed up late last night.
Did you watch it live again?
Heck yes, I did.
Well, I'm glad you got a new show you like to watch.
So I stayed up, which, again, like, let's start off with how pathetic it is when you stay up until 10 to watch a show. But that's morning show life, peeps.
When you get up so early,
that's the way it goes.
That's way more impressive and more of a vote for a show because of the fact that he wants to watch it the night it actually airs.
Yeah, so I did do the thing where I started at 9:15, so I didn't have to watch the commercials.
And this is the new show, Superman and Lois. And it's on the CW.
Yes. 2 episodes in, I'm loving it. Like, I am. Like, I'm loving it. I had such a great time watching it last night. Here's what I think is funny. I don't have, and I'm not just saying this, I don't have any friends that are watching this show. All of my friends that I would think of would be like my go-to, hey, what do you think of the new Superman show? They're not watching it.
Well, why did they watch the first episode and decide not to keep watching it, or they didn't even watch anything yet?
They weren't even willing to give the first episode a chance.
What was
they
the
were just like,
reasoning behind
just
it?
forget it. I think it's on the CW.
Oh, well, for some, that is enough. That is enough of a reason. But Obi likes it.
I get it. I get it, but I'm just saying, I think that this is it's a good show. I think I would say it's underrated, but if you saw the news yesterday, right before the second episode aired last night, they announced that it's getting a second season already. So they know that going in, that we'll have Superman and Lois season 2. So,
well, that makes it better. Now you feel like you can give it more of a chance if you didn't want to watch it at first, because it'll be around for this season and one more. So you at least get us somewhat of a storyline.
Yeah. So, I mean, I'm not here to endorse it. I'm not here to say that it's going to be good from now on. No.
But as far as the first 2 episodes.
Yeah. Like, the first 2 episodes have gotten me, and wow, I stayed up so late last night. What a party watching the second episode live of Superman and Lois. So, yep, I'm in. Just do me a favor. I just want to know I'm not the only one. If you're watching it, you should just text me 8772 RadioU because, as I said, I don't have any friends that are watching it. Well, you guys count
as friends, so that won't be a true statement if someone else hops in and says, hey, I've been enjoying it. Or you don't even have to say you've been enjoying it, just that you've been watching it, so he knows he's not alone.
The worst of the worst. Are you ready? The Riot Podcast. RadioU.
I don't even know if Nikki and I can give you enough context for this to make sense, but let me just start by saying it. It's getting weird with the mannequins, guys. Like,
Well, you'd have to know that we've had a few stories in the last maybe few weeks, couple of months, where
come on,
mannequins, having them, like owning them, they're in your house, seems to be something that some people are fine with and they have. And we didn't know that that was a thing, and we don't want to get too deep into that, but it's been a little bit worrisome because, you know, hey, you have like 25 mannequins in your house. All right. What are we supposed to do with that?
So let's unwind a little bit. As Nikki said, we've seen news stories. So like there's these people selling this thing. Was it in Michigan or it was in California, where they had like 20 mannequins all dressed in stunning evening wear.
We're talking like
scattered around the house.
Prom, wedding sort of attire, like pageant, that's the word, pageant attire. And they were all throughout this unit, this condo that they were trying to sell. And the condo looked really nice, except for the oddness of the many, many mannequins all posed and stuff. It was just very odd, very odd.
Right, right. Now, fast forward to today.
Yeah.
I mean, I hate being the celebrity gossip guy, whatever, but he's a billionaire. He's an actor. His name is Armie Hammer. And there's been all these allegations of a lot of things.
A lot of stuff.
A lot of things. And I just love the fact that there's some, oh my gosh, okay. I guess he's moving out of somewhere. So there's a, just some photographer, not TMZ, but something like that, just hanging outside his house, watching the stuff they're bringing out. He brings out a mannequin that's covered in like weird tied up ropes and all this stuff.
Do you think it's real, or do you think someone put that for a photo op?
Okay, here's the thing. I don't know if it's real or it's just a photo op. But here's the thing I do know. Stop with the mannequins. That's just what I'm just bottom lining it here for you, okay?
Don't have one, don't anything.
Like at any point, I'm just saying it now so that we're starting the public awareness campaign. At some point in your life, maybe not today, maybe not even tomorrow, it might occur to you like, oh, I'll get a mannequin for that.
Nope, no need.
If you do not work in the fashion industry, or you do not work, and by work in the fashion industry, I mean, and you're at home and you're sewing something, and you're like, I need this to hang. Okay, you get a pass. Everybody else, no mannequins, none.
All right,
you can't have them.
Hey, guess what? I agree. Does everybody else agree to that? I don't think these are too big of demands.
No, don't, Nikki. We're not even going with consensus. Sometimes Congress just has to call an audible.
This is a forced no mannequin thing. Down the road, you're like, oh, if it's older you, and I just want you to remember this moment during this show when we said you're not going to get those. Okay.
Okay. I'm glad we had this talk.
All right.
I really am.
I feel better about it.
We would give the Riot flowers to show our appreciation, but Obadiah's probably allergic. What isn't he allergic to? This is the Riot on RadioU.
Another Saturday night with you on the couch alone, crying into your Cheetos and thanking them for never betraying you. You're always there for me when nobody else is.
If you weren't crying, like if it was just you on a Saturday watching something eating Cheetos, it actually sounds like a pretty good night. So let's see where it goes wrong.
Well, okay, Nikki, here's the problem. Tulsa, Oklahoma. It's last week. There's a home invasion, right? You know what that means? That means somebody has broken into somebody else's house. And the police are called to the scene, and this person apparently escaped through a window, and that was it. They're gone. But you know what the police found by the window?
What'd they find?
Bag of Cheetos.
Oh, bringing your food to work.
Half-eaten bag of Cheetos.
Sometimes you got a snack. So it wasn't the person inside eating the Cheetos. It was the person trying to break in.
And so there was a person that just suddenly emerged, they said, from the shadows. So they think that she was probably hiding. And so it was a little too suspect. And they go over and like, all right, who are you? What you doing? But here's what they discovered. See, the thing about Cheetos, Nikki, is that Cheetos, like Doritos, are covered in dust.
Mm-hmm.
And so they found on the fingers and teeth of this woman, they found Cheeto dust.
Well, it just doesn't leave. You gotta get it out of your teeth and stuff. So she she's been caught, and they are pretty much guaranteed that it was her because of the bag of Cheetos and the fact that she was eating them and drinking bottled water next to the window. They think she's it.
So there it is. They found the Cheetos, and the Cheetos betrayed her. They betrayed her, Nikki. She was just trying to sit and it was all over her.
So they
Cheeto
actually
dust
think
will get you.
That she dropped the bag of Cheetos, cheese puffs, that sort of thing when she was leaving to try to get out of the house because she was prying the screen porch door sort of open, the window open, but there were people inside of the house, so she probably got spooked and tried to leave the house. They think when she heard the residents, then that was it. When she came out of the shadows, is what they're saying, the officers were still there working the scene, and they were able to arrest her.
Because
of the Cheetos.
She was covered in Cheetos.
That's right. That was not the right snack for her to pick to break into someone's house.
I mean, we've all been there, as kids, when you're eating the Cheetos, you're not supposed to, and your mom's like, have you been eating Cheetos? And you're like, no.
No, don't look at me, though.
There are some people that shouldn't have their own podcast. And by some people, we mean these people. RadioU's Worst of the Riot podcast.
I'll tell you, there's never going to be a point in human history going forward. I mean, there was maybe a couple of years there in Germany, but in general, if anybody says to you, that looks like Hitler, you're done with it. You're going to have to shave the mustache, get a different shirt, whatever it is about yourself. If anybody draws a comparison, and it's one of those things where you could be like, you know what? I don't care if you think it looks like Hitler. I'm going to rock this anyway. Nope, can't. You can't. Because once someone points that out, you're done.
Yeah, you can't undo it.
Just ask Amazon.
Is that what people are saying?
Yeah, now it's funny, it's changed. So if you grab your phone right now and look at it, you probably won't even get a chance to see it. But Amazon...
It's the Amazon, the icon and stuff, on your phone for the app. They changed it to look like a box being delivered.
Yep. They had it look like a box, and then it had a blue piece of tape on top of it. Mm-hmm. And so that blue piece of tape had a jagged edge. And, of course, then it's got the little Amazon smile on it. And people were like, oh, the box has a Hitler mustache.
I don't think I ever saw. So now the sticker is kind of lifted up on the side. Is that new, or is that still the old Hitler-looking one?
No, that one that you have now is their updated one. It literally took them about 5 minutes to change.
To change the icon? Oh, my gosh, That's so funny. Well, at least they were on top of it. They don't want it to be a topic to overshadow them having a new look to it.
I just love it because I totally get that, where you're like, you're in a room, man, anytime you push anything out anywhere, everybody looks at it millions of times. Is this offensive? Is it wrong? Think outside the box. What are we doing wrong? What are we missing? You do all this stuff.
And then
everybody's fine with it. There isn't any way it could possibly be remotely offensive. It's a box, for crying out loud. And then, boom, it's out. And within 30 seconds, people are like, look at the new Amazon Hitler box.
So, again, the Amazon shopping, the app, the icon for it, it used to be just the shopping cart with the Amazon logo above it, became a box with the swoosh, their swoosh, and, the tape on top. The tape had a jagged bottom to it, and they're calling it was the cardboard Hitler, and that got changed then now. So you'll see the new updated icon because they couldn't have that. So
that's just what they wanted.
People did not want that, and they were quick to change it, which is good.
Yeah, so that's out there. It's one of those things that you could have slept on it and not even known. You got an update one day and then another update the same day.
I just like people because they were joking they did not see the problem, Nazi.
Oh my gosh!
So. They had some fun with that, but they did want them to fix the logo still. So it was just, once you see it, you can't unsee it, and it's just awkward. So they needed to change it.
Things are never as bad as they seem, except when it comes to the riot. Then they're worse. They're always worse. It's The Riot on RadioU.
Tell you what, I just bounced out of bed this morning, and I'd like to. I'm a little embarrassed, and I almost want to keep it a secret, but at the same time, you know what? I'm in love, and I don't care who knows it.
And that caused you to get out of bed in such a hurry today?
It did, Nikki. Did you hear about what's happening tomorrow?
Yeah, what is tomorrow?
Tomorrow, CBS All Access becomes Paramount Plus.
Oh, is that it? Oh, another plus in our lineup of apps and wonder and more streaming shows and more movies. And CBS All Access wasn't a right fit, but maybe Paramount Plus will be. So they're just changing their name.
It's going to be perfect.
Are you going to try well, I mean, technically, you already had CBS All Access, so you know what it's like. I wonder if they're going to do a design change to it or how it'll look, but we'll have to see.
Well, I will say it is supposed to have a bunch of like stuff that wasn't on CBS All Access, because now it's going to be all Viacom. So you'll get, man, it's going to be loaded with stuff I don't want. It's going to be MTV, Nickelodeon, BET, and Comedy Central. Look. All the networks I'm not interested in.
Maybe there'll be something. How much? I forget. Like, how much is that going to be? Paramount Plus.
It's $6 a month for limited commercials, $10 a month for no commercials, and they're doing it kind of like that Disney Plus thing where if right now you'll sign up for a year.
Oh, they'll keep it at the same.
You can get 50% off a 1 year thing. But again, and I realize I'm being snide, but let's just set that aside for a minute. I mean, aside from the Star Trek stuff, for me, like there's nothing here for me. Like, I don't need to see Avatar again, and I don't need to see Teen Wolf again. You know, like, I'm good.
Well, if anybody tomorrow, when they switch over, if anybody likes it, let us know what you like about it. That way, we'll let you be the person trying it out for us.
Yeah, I mean, again, I do love the Star Trek stuff they've done. I like the last season of Discovery. I liked Picard. There'll be more of that this year. But I'm good.
Actually, we need to check it with Sydney, because if Sydney, out of everybody here, I'm sure she's the one who will try it. She loves the CBS stuff, so we'll check in with her to see how she likes it if she's switching over to that app.
Man, she needs to. That's what we should do for her birthday. Well, I'll just pitch in and buy her
Get her a year.
The Riot has now been downloaded. I hope you installed some antivirus. This is the worst of the Riot podcast.
I want to say hi to Stephanie. She texted us at that number, and she says, need a post-workout recovery drink? No, because I haven't been working out. Got just the thing at my job yesterday. Yes.
We do appreciate it.
Got just the thing at my job yesterday. One of the reviews said it's great on a hot day. Pickle juice. It's a can of pickle juice.
It almost looks like an energy shot, like what are those? The 5-hour energy drinks. I can't tell like how big the bottle is, but it's an energy drink, or not energy drink, but it's like a deep muscle cramps. It's 8 ounces. That's a lot of pickle.
I was going to say it's bigger than you think it is. Like
that's impressive.
If it was an energy shot, those are, I think, usually an ounce.
Yeah, this one's a lot.
I could probably make room for that. Well, this is 8 ounces.
I was texting back, like, I know quite a few people who do keto, and for keto, you're supposed to have, like, a lot of electrolytes and stuff that you can lose out on. So I know people that drink pickle juice because it'll do the trick. Like, it's got enough in it. It'll get rid of, like, the keto flu thing you can possibly get. So I'm not surprised they have this.
I hate pickles so much, and the idea of just drinking
the juice. Now, I told Stephanie I don't mind pickles. I probably would drink the juice. I wouldn't drink 8 ounces of it, but I wouldn't mind trying it. It wouldn't bug me. But what if
I'm fine?
If you were really working out, what if you were really, really working out and you really needed something to help you with that? Would you try it just to be a help physically?
You know what, Nikki? I just want you to know right now what this sounds like, okay? I've got friends. I don't drink beer because gross. But I've had so many friends like, no, bro, no. You got it after you've been working hard on a real hot day outside. You get an ice cold beer. And I'm like, yeah, an ice cold bottle of water. Tell me, like, anything cold at that point is going to taste good. So when you're building these circumstances of, like, you've been depriving yourself for the last 60 minutes during your high-intensity interval training, and now we've got a cold bottle of pickle juice for you.
Oh, doesn't that sound refreshing? Absolutely refreshing.
You know what? Just to be clear, I'd rather grab somebody's towel in the gym, wring it out, and drink their sweat.
That was too much. That's too much.
Don't mind me. I'll be drinking this sweat over here. You go ahead and have your pickle juice.
All right, well, if you see the pickle juice for, like, recovery, Obi's a no. I'm fine with it, but I wouldn't drink a lot. And none of us are working out, so we really don't need it anyways.
Man, I'll tell you what we need. We need to start working out again. You know what? I'm not going to get into it. That's all.
Are people really still listening to the Riot? You don't have work to do or laundry to fold or literally anything else to do? The Riot, Radio U.
I don't know if you guys have heard, but people are super excited about what's going on in Texas today. They have become the largest state to lift their mask mandate, and people, I mean, at least online, people are losing their minds about that.
It doesn't mean that I don't like masks, because, I'm perfectly fine doing all that. But did anybody else feel like, if you're not in Texas, feel like a tiny bit jealous yesterday that was going to be opened up, even though, like, safety, that's still very important? It just was like, oh man, you kind of really want life to go back to being that way. And yes, we understand how that wouldn't be as safe. So again, take that to the side and just think how, it would be nice when your state does safely open up that way. But yeah, a lot of people were really excited for Texas or really mad for Texas. There wasn't really a lot of in between.
That's funny.
I know,
really? Nobody with a balanced approach?
Exactly. So Mississippi followed as well, and they said that they are opening all businesses back up and not requiring masks too.
So, you know what? Nikki, first off, I understand exactly what you're saying. It's just that desire to
go back to normal.
We're hitting spring, and the idea of, like, man, spring opening up, and, like, let's just pretend this never happened. Let's never speak of this again.
It's kind of like how everybody's been looking at Florida like, wow, what are you doing? And now other states are going to do the same thing too.
So the governor, that's Greg Abbott of Texas, came out, and I'll just read you parts of his statement. He says, with the medical advancements of vaccines and antibody therapeutic drugs, Texas now has the tools to protect Texans from the virus. We must now do more to restore livelihoods and normalcy for Texans by opening Texas 100%. So he says that businesses and families in Texas have the freedom to determine their own destiny. Whoa.
So again, like I mentioned, Texas did that, and then right after, Mississippi followed too. So not sure if any other states are going to, but that's what was the big news yesterday.
Everybody's really kind of angry or happy about it.
I know. Again, no in between, so you don't really want to talk too much about it because people get mad about it. But that was yesterday's big news.
All I know is I feel like this last year, I've aged 10 years. Like, that's how I feel. I just feel like I am now 10 years older than I was last year.
Well, I also, too, felt like yesterday when I thought, wow, what would it be like to not have to wear a mask anymore? Or you could, but not being forced. And I just thought, like, for that first time you go out, you're going to feel like it's a trap or something. Like, you're not supposed to, or even though you can, would you still, like, wear it all? But you want to be safe, and a lot of people are still very much compromised. So hopefully people still be safe there.
Nikki, in January of last year, I went to a movie and ended up sitting next to a stranger. And we just sat there like it was okay.
Mm-hmm. How long
I don't
until
know.
that feels
I don't even know if I
again?
can. I don't know if I can go back to that. I'm gonna sit down and be like, "Have you washed your hands? What about brushing your teeth? What's the last time you were sick and what did you have?
Yeah.
I mean, I don't know.
People still cough around you. And, back then you just weren't worried about that. But a lot of people are still obviously very worried now.
Well, good for you, Texas, or shame on you, Texas.
Everything you love about the Riot, plus a handy-dandy fast-forward option. This is the Worst of the Riot podcast.
I'm spending a lot of time alone these days, and I'm enjoying it. It's very exciting. Actually, I've been really busy, but last night I was kind of working on, I found this list from Rolling Stone 2 days ago that was 40 movies made after 2000. They're like, these are your must-see movies.
Was it just movies or was it sci-fi movies, if I recall?
Busted.
Wait a minute. I don't think it was just the entire category there.
So, okay, Nikki, good call. But here's what I want to know. That made me go through, I was kind of going through my movies at home where I was like, okay, here's one I haven't watched. And I realized a couple, I guess it was probably last year, I got Hobbs and Shaw.
Yeah.
I got it in 4K Blu-ray for, I believe, $6.99.
Mm-hmm.
And when I bought it, I want you to know that I had really good intentions. Intentions to watch it. Intentions to enjoy it.
And?
Intentions.
Yeah.
Here's the thing. I think I've started that movie at least 5 times.
Oh, you never watched? No, you just never made it through the whole thing?
After 10, maybe 15 minutes, I'm like, you know what? Just no.
Well, as someone I saw the movie, it's not very good. But when do you call it? When you just say, fine, you don't need to watch it?
I don't know. And that's kind of where I'm at is I wanted to ask. I can't be, and Nikki, we can start with you, but I can't be the only person that has this movie that you say you're going to watch, you mean to watch it, you're telling people you're going to watch it, and then every time you sit down to watch it, you're like, no. No, not no.
And you can't somehow make it through that particular movie. And you're saying the Hobbs and Shaw one was yours currently?
Yeah. I mean, I've seen the beginning of that movie so many times.
Yeah.
I haven't seen the middle of that movie or the end of that movie ever.
Mm-hmm.
Ever.
You should just skip the whole middle part and get to the end and just call it.
Just watch the end?
Yeah, just call it then.
The end will be them having some level of begrudging respect, followed by a little hint to show that they still don't like each other, and now we make another one.
Yeah, but at least you can say you watched the movie. You got most of it then.
Well, okay. I just want to know, if nobody has this in their life, if I'm the only one, we'll drop it. But text us and tell me, 877-2-RADIO-U, what's the movie? You know what? I'll even open it up. Maybe it's a book. Maybe it's a TV show you keep saying you're going to watch, and you get, 20 minutes in, and it's not happening, but you won't let go. That's where I am. I can't let go, but I also don't want to.
Maybe there's a term for it. Maybe we got to go.
There has to be, right?
There's some sort of term describing you start something, you can't, until you have closure with it, you can't let it go, but you just can't seem to make your way through it.
Okay, well, 877-2-RADIO-U. And if it's just me, that's fine. There's a lot of things that happen on this show that are just me.
And we're okay with that. That's wonderful.
And that's okay, too. That's okay. I'm a good person, kind of, probably. So, not worried.
The Riot is well-versed on many different topics.
They're shy at first, but they're quite skilled at conversation.
This is The Riot on RadioU.
I'll tell you what. I was going to tell you about some tech stuff, but it looks to me as if a couple of people had some movies they weren't going to watch.
So you're not the only one.
Yeah.
Well, Obi was talking about how there's a couple of movies that he can't seem to finish. Happy to start them, but can't finish. And does anybody else find themselves in movies or games or books? What is it about a certain one where you just can't, no matter what you try, you cannot get through it?
Okay. So Gary in Toledo says, First Cow?
What is that? I'm afraid to ask. I'm afraid. Maybe we should check these out first before we say them. Is that a movie?
Let me read it to you. Two travelers on the run from a band of vengeful hunters in the 1820s dream of striking it rich, but their tenuous plan to make their fortune on the frontier comes to rely on the secret use of a landowner's prized dairy cow.
Well, actually, Gary, I will say this, because he said he got it for a cheap Christmas rental on Amazon, had a month to watch it, didn't do it. We have done that before. You have plenty of time to get through a rental, and you're like, yeah, I'll totally get through it. And before you know it, the rental's up and you never watched it. So don't feel bad about that.
I'll tell you right now, looking at some of the photos of this movie, it could be a Mitchell and Webb sketch.
Oh, really?
I don't know if it's. Well, I don't know if it's supposed to be serious, but
Gary, if you do ever get through it, let us know how it was.
Okay. Dakota says, I've watched the whole thing now, but Hocus Pocus. For the longest time, I'd start it, leave it, and catch it halfway through. But last year, I watched the entire thing. Well, there you go. Dakota, no offense, but I wouldn't even start that one. I was like, man.
Well, we're not worrying about that. Everybody has their own things, but did you get through it? And he finally did.
Brian says, I don't give a movie more than one shot. If it hasn't got my attention in the first 15 minutes, then I can find better things to do. Now, see, Brian, I find myself kind of in that category where I've gotten to this place with my free time where if I am not enjoying what I'm doing and, it's not work related, I just stop.
Yeah.
I'm just like, I only have so much free time. Why would I waste this free time on something I don't enjoy? Which is why when we get those recommendations and people are like, listen, it's a really good show. You just got to get to halfway through the 4th season and then it's just unbelievable.
You're going to love it. Well, you don't want to even get to that 4th season to begin with. Nathan, I got to ask you, said, hey, Nathan, my movie is the new Godzilla. Do you mean like the most recent one, but not Godzilla, Kong stuff? Like, you're going to want to see that, right? Which one are you talking about?
Well, what you think, like he's talking either Godzilla or Godzilla King of Monsters?
Yeah, like maybe which one are you referring to? Just want to make sure we know because you're going to want to watch the newest one. That one looks actually really good.
I keep meaning to go back and watch that, like the first one from like 5 years ago or whatever. Mm-hmm. It's coming to 4K Blu-ray.
Yeah, I'm sure
March 23rd. It's already ordered, so that's when I'm going to watch it.
You're on top of these things, right?
Yeah, but I've been really good at buying things and watching them lately. Just not Hobbs and Shaw, okay? Like, just not.
Well, I was just teasing you because a lot of us, like, would we even buy it in the first place? But Obi enjoys getting through those. And this all comes back from a Rolling Stones article, which covered, like, how many movies you should be getting through.
There's 40 sci-fi movies that from 2000 to 2021 that you should watch. And I was like, oh, my gosh, I haven't seen, like, half of these. And so I started making a list. And then I was like, but what about Hobbs and Shaw?
Before you get through all these 40 movies, what about this thing? And he just can't.
Like, I can't watch that.
You're listening to the worst of the riot. RadioU.
We have been talking about starting movies that we don't finish. And for me, it's Hobbs and Shaw. I bought it because there were no movies to go to. And I just kind of assumed, I'm sure I'll watch it and at least enjoy it. I mean, it was less than the price of a movie ticket. And so instead, I have started it about 400 times.
Give or take a couple.
And every time I start it, I'm like, nah, I don't think so. I don't want to watch this anymore. But Mike says, he texted in and says, hey, you need a movie watching buddy. Mm-hmm. So like somebody that you would sit down with and watch a movie. And I understand what he's saying, but I'm going to have to respectfully disagree, Mike, because here's how this ends up working. You get a movie watching buddy, it's going to end up just like your quote unquote workout buddy. Mm-hmm. Every time I have tried to have somebody that I work out with, okay, this is not going to be very nice, but they end up being a bunch of dead weight. All right. We go into the gym.
You're trying to do your thing.
Right. So it's like, hey, you want to meet at the gym tomorrow at 6? Can we do 9:30? And then it like turns into this whole thing. Then when they finally do show up with you at the gym, they're like, do we have to, like, let's not do it so fast. It's like, listen, we're here to be focused and get this done. And they're like, she's cute. And I'm like, yeah, she is, but focus.
Focus on the workout. So because then someone comes in and instead of it just you enjoying quietly the movie and absorbing it and having your own thoughts about it, it's kind of like instead when you go with friends to go watch a movie, then it's a whole thing and you don't always want it to be a thing.
Yeah. So, I mean, it's just one of those things where I have found, like I'm just better off alone.
Well, you can do what I do. My dog Rollo will always sit with me. So you just need a dog, and then they'll just quietly sit next to you. And then you can just watch the movie with them.
I think the answer is I think I just get a couple of cats, and then one day they find me dead of asphyxiation because my airway is completely closed up because of my cat allergy. But... the ambulance rolls in, they come running down the stairs, and they see the credits rolling on a movie, and they're like, what is this? Like, he died watching Hobbs and Shaw, but at least he got all the way through it before the end.
I don't know. Would it be bad, though, if you didn't get through it and you still just died watching the beginning of it?
They're like, can we estimate a time of death? Well, you're not going to believe this, but it was about 15 minutes into the movie.
He didn't make it. And that's how we can see Obi going. That's completely it.
You know what? That feels good. I like that.
Oh, no, that feels like one of those death movie things like that they make movies about. Maybe you should just never watch that. It's just not meant to be.
Oh, so like you're saying that if I get past the 15-minute mark, something terrible will happen?
Yeah, I'm too worried now.
Now I want to watch it.
No, I think you should just to be safe, why don't you make a fire and burn it and just never watch it?
Okay. I'm okay with that, too.
In case you're wondering, yes, we do get complaints.
They have gone too far. This time, they are going to be held accountable.
You're listening to The Riot on RadioU.
Listen, don't let them lie to you. Fried cheese is the answer. Okay?
That'll fix it all.
That's what that brings it together. That's what, you don't even know this, but it's the cure for COVID-19. That's what I heard.
I'll take that vaccine, no problem. I'll take as many doses as you want to give me if that was how the delivery of the vaccine was actually given.
What? So it's like, pills and a brownie for your pet. This is like, all right, we've put the COVID vaccine in this little container of fried cheese.
Okay.
Just eat up and enjoy it.
First off, you can tell if he's not a pet owner because you're not doing a brownie. But you can.
What do you do?
Well, brownie's usually chocolate, and that'll hurt your pet. But it's normally like a piece of cheese or peanut butter or some bread.
Okay, I don't want to hijack this entire break, but do you want to know why I think that? Because there's a reason.
Why?
How much time do you have?
Well, we have all the time that you need if this is important to get out.
We can kick the fried cheese. Welcome to my personal psychology. Here we go. When I was a kid, I watched Tales from the Crypt on HBO or something like that.
As a kid?
Yeah, I know. See how much is wrong?
Some people
already?
listening were like, oh, okay.
Okay, so it goes like this. There's this guy who his wife, they're this older couple. His wife drives him crazy, but he doesn't really realize that until he retires. And so she has all these animals and pets and stuff, and she's just like, trying to take care of him now that he's retired. And so she brought him a brownie and he eats the brownie. And then he's like, you never brought me my medicine. And she's like, oh, I put it in the brownie. And he gets really mad about that because she's just treating him like one of her
dogs.
animals.
Yeah.
Yeah. So what she doesn't know is he starts up a new hobby in the basement. And he takes up taxidermy, and slowly but surely, he's just taxidermying all of her animals. But then the episode ends when she finds out. She gets so angry, she taxidermies him and just sets him in the chair and keeps bringing him brownies.
Oh, and that's where that came from.
That's why I think that when you give a dog a pill, you put it in a brownie.
Yeah, all right. It's in real world, that's not how we do it. And in the TV world, that sounds really bad. Okay.
These were formative moments for me.
Yeah, that shaped what you are and how you are today.
Oh, it's funny, but somebody out there is taking notes like, yeah.
Well, now we see. I mean, if we're need to take pills, brownies are the way to go, but just not for pets.
That's what I can still remember thinking like, man, I wonder if I could get pills and a brownie.
Be awesome. You get sick, you go make a pan of brownies, and that's how you take your medicine all the time.
Worst of the riot. RadioU.
Back to something normal after that terrifying turn of events that we had.
Well, you know what? Go back to the cheese curds because it feels like that's a very comfortable topic. We're comfortable there.
Chad says, morning riot. Obi, I swear I've heard you talk about that taxidermy scene before. Yeah, probably. Let's get into fried cheese. Okay.
All right. We like fried cheese. Fried cheese curds are good.
Crispy cheese dippers.
Mm-hmm.
That is what Taco Bell is getting ready to push out to the world. Now, it's only happening in some Southern California locations. But you know what that means? They're testing it.
That's their headquarters, so they're keeping it close to where they can keep an eye on seeing how these actually go. So they are testing in select locations in Southern California. You can get crispy. You're getting cheddar cheese curds that are served with a creamy chipotle sauce. That sounds pretty good.
Okay. Yeah, I mean, to be honest, I think they should be able to stand on their own without a dip.
Okay, how does this sound? All right, you know how they do the fries, right? They're doing the nacho fries. So you get nacho fries. You can top them with the fried cheese curd dippers and the cheese sauce as well. The chipotle sauce, sour cream, and tomatoes.
I don't like any of that.
You don't think fries with the cheese curds on top wouldn't be good?
No, I like that.
Okay, but you don't like the sauce
I'm gonna
stuff?
have to. Yeah, I got one of their. Okay, all right, here we go. Back to full disclosure. Ended up at Taco Bell the other day, and that's why I just carry Pepto in my car now. So you just eat the Taco Bell, and you just take Pepto with it.
Do you carry the big one or just like a travel size one?
You can get it at pills now. You don't even need to drink it. Yeah, I mean, I started putting it in my sodas, but it got less effective. So I just take the pills. And I had some of their, first off, I had a chicken quesadilla and ended up with that chipotle sauce on it.
Yeah.
I didn't really like that. I mean, it was, and then I had some of their nacho fries and I really liked that.
But without the chipotle sauce. So wait for the cheese curds if they end up being approved for like a national release. But based on the pictures, they look pretty good.
I would just make some adjustments here. All right, let's see. We got the nacho fries with the cheese sauce on top, and then you just put just the cheese curds on top of that.
No sour cream.
And then, I said,
no nothing else.
So it would either be a side of Pepto, or maybe I hide the Pepto pills in the food and I just end up eating them.
There's this place called...
See earlier discussion.
It might not be everywhere, but there's this place called Culver's, and they have really good cheese curds, too. That was the first time when I had it from them that I had ever had a cheese curd. I didn't know what that was until Culver's, but now maybe you'll get them from Taco Bell.
Hey, I'm on board. I like a good cheese curd. You know what I'm saying?
The riot. Just because it's bad doesn't mean it's not good. Wait, isn't that exactly what it means? It's the riot on RadioU.
You know, I keep seeing people making fun of this couple, but I think they're the truest among us all. Okay? Here we have this couple. They have gone to, they're in the UK, but the UK has this list of stuff where it's all right, if you go to the following countries, you have to quarantine when you come back. It's a list of, I believe, 33 different countries that you have to wait. So then they end up in the UK. They came from Brazil via Madrid. They have to quarantine for 10 days. Their 10 days are up. They're there to see their kids. They're there to see family, all this stuff, whatever. When they were asked where they were going, as they're leaving quarantine, what are you guys going to do first? The first thing they did, they went to McDonald's.
Aww. That's kind of how we all feel, right? Sometimes you just want to go to McDonald's, and there's nothing wrong with that. That's sweet. Why are people making fun of that?
Because they're oh, you're so dumb, whatever. Let me tell you something. That makes perfect sense to me.
That'll do. Some nuggets, that'll do. And you've been through a lot. You've been quarantined. Just go to McDonald's. It's fine. Whatever is your fast food. I know deep down they're just making fun of the fact that it's a fast food restaurant and they think you should be picking better.
They didn't go out for some steak or
you could pick any fast food place and people would still be making fun of it. So it's really that.
And I get that, but can I tell you, and this is something I have shared before, is that in the middle of my quarantine, the first one, I had a friend of mine call me and he was like, hey, no judgment, no anything. I'll bring you anything you want. Anything. Just tell me what it is. And there were offers of lots of things. And I was like, listen.
This is the real
McDonald's.
thing. That's all you wanted.
I want a 20-piece McNugget. And I want 2 large fries. Now, keep in mind, I don't normally eat that much food, and I didn't finish that, but I ate on it for a whole day. I was just like, all right, have some chicken McNuggets, take a break, go back and have a couple more chicken McNuggets.
So while they were doing their 10 days of quarantine, they would get nothing but basically, they say airline food. I guess I thought it'd be like hotel food, but they're saying it was airline food for their hotel room. So they decided to stop off for McDonald's. They got chicken burgers in the UK. So basically for us, that's like chicken sandwiches and fries. That was their meal before they got to have a reunion with their family.
These people are my spirit animals. They're me.
The Riot Podcast. RadioU.
Okay, so we are 2 weeks away from getting that Zack Snyder's Justice League. And I know, you know what, I'm sorry if you listen to the show and that's not like your lane, because I keep driving down that lane so often, but to me it feels like a big deal, and that's because we haven't had a new movie in 100 years. So,
well, and plus people have been wanting to see what his take would have been on Justice League, and there's been so much drama surrounding it for so many years that the fact that it's actually coming out and it actually be there is kind of shocking, but people just want to see what it's going to be like.
Right. So here's the deal. The press has not seen it yet, supposedly. A lot of people haven't seen it, but the rumor is that the higher-ups at Warner Brothers have seen it, and they really don't like it.
Well, what's the reason why they don't like it?
I don't know. They just don't.
They don't like Zack Snyder? Like they don't take it, like his take on it? Or I wish they would give some details why.
I don't know. The other thing, and this is pure rumor, speculation, but the rumor is that, Warner is now owned by AT&T. Mm-hmm. And AT&T, as the parent company, basically made them make this movie. Yeah. They were like, yeah, there's too much buzz, there's too much interest, you have to make this. And Warner Brothers didn't want to. And so it's kind of like when Michael was like, you're going to let Obadiah on the show, Nikki. And you're like, I don't want to. And he's like, I don't care.
But the higher-ups at AT&T were like, we have to have Obi.
Yeah. So, I mean, the reality of it is we don't know. It could just be that Nikki's out there saying bad things about me because I was forced into her life.
Or maybe it's just not a very good movie.
It might be really bad. I will say the whole thing about it being 4 hours, that's a tough sell, man. 4 hours.
I know that for some movies that are longer, and there's plenty of them, that sometimes you're like, oh, well, that's great. You know, like the director and them, they had a vision and they just couldn't get it in a normal running movie time that we're okay to sit through. But a lot of times if you get to like a longer movie up to 4 hours, they just didn't edit it properly. Like you could have lost a lot of stuff and cut down the time, but they're so personally involved with creating it that they can't do that on their own. They think it's all worth keeping in.
You know what is happening here? They're getting high on their own supply.
Yeah.
Okay.
Because everybody was telling them, oh, they're going to want to see all this new stuff. So you got to fill it up with all this new stuff of an old movie.
Yeah, I'm very curious. I'll tell you, haven't talked about it on the air, but I have been rewatching Batman v Superman. Mm-hmm. I've been treating it like a miniseries. I've been watching like 30, 45 minutes, an hour each night. And that ultimate cut is, I think it's like 3.5 hours long. So it keeps dragging on. But I'll tell you this much. Ben Affleck's really good, guys. He is.
You miss it, right?
He's a good Batman. I'm telling you what.
I don't think people did not appreciate, though, when he was the actual Batman.
Well, they were wrong. They were wrong. He's a great Batman. His Bruce Wayne is second to none. It's good. I like it.
The Snyder Cut will be on HBO Max starting on March 18th, so you are almost there.
This was the worst of the riot, and we'd like to congratulate you on having the stomach to stick around to the very end. The riot exists because Radio U exists, and Radio U only exists because of your support. Find out more and give now at RadioU.com/donate.
I'll love you, my little pear-shaped husband.